The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Today is all things Raiders. We go through their offseason review last year, of course, the draft, and then predict the 2025 season. Metro, are you ready to go?
100%. As you said, all things Raiders. Let's hop into it.
All right, Metro, it's only right we start at the top. Let's go back to 2024 and review this season with the Las Vegas Raiders. How did they do? How did they perform overall?
Yeah, so this Raiders team last year, not very good, as we all know. In terms of statistics, they ranked 29th in points per game, 27th in yards per game, damn near bottom 5 in every offensive statistic, including only 1.8 touchdowns per game at 29th. Running the football was abysmal last year. They ranked 30th in rush play percentage, 32nd in yards per rush, 30th in rushes per game, last in rushing yards per game, and 28th in rushing touchdowns per game. Surprisingly, passing the football, they weren't horrendous, but they weren't great. They actually ran the third most pass plays with a 64.32 percentage, which is on average, which was the third highest, which is not good when your quarterback's Aiden O'Connell. No disrespect, but you probably want that to be a bit more like the 20s. And just in general, it was not a great offense. Now, defensively speaking, I think they're better than what their statistics say. It's just that the offense was not good last year, and it put their defense in a lot of bad situations. They also had a bunch of injuries with Christian Wilkins, and I think Malcolm Kuntz was out for a while. They ranked 25th in opponents' points per game, 14th in opponents' yards per game, and 20th in opponents' touchdowns per game. They were horrendous on fourth down, decent on third down, and below average in the red zone. Against the run, they were top 16. They were a decent unit against the run. Against the pass, they were middle of the pack, slightly below average. So just in terms of statistics, that's that. We all kind of know how their season went. It was not very pretty. How many games they win last year?
They won 4 and 13.
Yeah. Missed the playoffs. They end up with the 6th overall pick this year.
That's correct. And they get he's an okay player, I guess.
Yeah, he's all right, but
he's all right.
We'll get to him in a second. Overall, look, this is a team in the Raiders that has a lot to build on from last year. Do you want to talk about what they did in the offseason?
Yeah, man. Offseason was quite eventful. Pete Carroll rolls up, and they get their old quarterback in Geno Smith to kick it off. That is the headliner. And yes, they extended Max Crosby as well. 3 years, $100 million. Isaiah Polameo, I don't know if I said that right. I tried. 2 years, $8 million. Also pretty solid contract there for the safety. Released Gardner Minshew, and then also released the center in Andre James. Signings, we had a whole bunch here. Jeremy Chin, 2 years, $16 million. The safety. Guard Alex Kappa, 2 years, $11 million. And then Eric Stokes and a couple more to be named. Now, this one was pretty damn big. The draft was even bigger, in my opinion. But, Metro, what do you make of this Raiders offseason? I give it a pretty solid grade overall because they got their guys. But what did you think?
Yeah, I like what they did this offseason. They bring in a new head coach, Pete Carroll, experienced guy. Bring in Geno Smith, a superstar quarterback. He's really good. Top 10 level quarterback. He fixes a major issue for this team that they have just been desperately in need of. They also lost some pieces in the offseason, too, that I would have liked to have seen them bring back. They lose their starting linebacker. They lose one of their safeties. Just a number of pieces that I would have liked to have seen them keep. But you lose those guys. You find different replacements. Landon Roberts is going to be probably your replacement at that linebacker spot. Good run defender. Ideally, I think you want to find a future guy because he's a little bit older, but he's a good run defender. Eric Stokes, also a veteran, kind of like Landon Roberts. He does some things good, but he's definitely a temporary guy. Kind of the same thing with Alex Kappa, kind of the same thing with Devin White. Some temporary solutions for problems that need to be fixed with a long-term answer. Jeremy Chin was a nice pickup. He had a really good year for Washington, but man, the swap of Gardner Minshew to Geno Smith, that is a huge
monumental
upgrade. I mean, did you ever think that Gardner Minshew was going to work out for the Raiders? Because I, from the get-go, was very confused as to why they did that.
Minshew is, if we're being all honesty, he's a bridge quarterback, and that's okay. You go in there to try to throw more touchdowns and interceptions, and that's pretty much what you're being paid to do. Anybody that thought Minshew would be, hey, this would be the next franchise quarterback, I love Minshew. We should not expect that at this point. So he was what I expected personally, but like you mentioned, a really underappreciated quarterback in Geno Smith. Some people don't think he quite is the guy that he is. He's been cooking in Seattle, man. He's been doing a really good job, but most people aren't that high on him. I look forward to him coming into this year behind some of these awesome draft picks and really lighting it up. And do you want to transition into the draft, or what else do you have to say about this offseason?
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what team
Please.
Gardner Minshew plays for?
Oh, no. Dude, I actually don't know. Where's he at?
Take a wild guess. I'll give you a hint. It's in terms of divisions, it's really close to Las Vegas.
It's really close to Las Vegas. Oh, it's like in the division, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is he on the Chiefs?
He's on the Chiefs.
What? Oh,
I literally
what?
on the spot here, I just looked it up. I was like, where did Gardner Minshew go? I haven't really heard from him. He's the backup quarterback for the Chiefs. I don't know why, but
Super Bowl Gardner Minshew. Better
he's
say it
probably
right.
he might have a better shot with going back to the Eagles, but yeah, he went there. Last thing I'll say about Geno, look, Seattle was not a good spot for him. Well, let me rephrase that. Seattle did not support him to the greatest of extents. That offensive line was not great last year. Yes, there was some really good weapons, but I think they got a little bit repetitive, a little bit stale as the seasons went on. And that offensive line was just never good enough to support Geno. And Geno at times kind of felt like he was carrying that offense, like with some of the plays he was making. And now he enters a Raiders team that, even though that offensive line is not fantastic, it's good enough. And there's a foundation set now at the quarterback room. And the thing I like the most about this is the Raiders have been struggling to find a long-term answer at quarterback since Derek Carr. And even with Derek Carr, there's a lot of questions about his job security. Now you get a guy in Geno who you know will be your starter for at least 1 year, if not longer. And you can start to build that lineage of Geno Smith for the next 2 to 3 years. You draft a guy either next year or the year after that. He is then your long-term answer at quarterback, and then you start to do what the Green Bay Packers do, or I guess what the Cowboys are trying to do, where you have that veteran guy who trains the young quarterback. The young quarterback steps in, he becomes Jordan Love, and then in the future, Jordan Love will have a backup or have a new backup, and he'll train him, and then that new backup will be the starter. So that's hopefully what the Raiders are doing. I think that's what their plan is. I mean, Tom Brady's there, so I'm sure he's cooking. Is at least hopeful with it. So I like the move a lot. Bringing Geno back with Pete Carroll, to me, was chef's kiss.
They have an identity, and they ran with that identity going into the draft. And let's go top to bottom. Let's start in the first round. Ashton Jeanty goes in the first, the Boise State running back. Second round, the wide receiver, Jack Besh. Third round, Darian Porter, the freak athlete cornerback. Third again, Caleb Rogers, the O-tackle. Third again, Charles Grant, all the third-round picks, the O-tackle. Fourth round, Deontay Thornton Jr., the wide receiver out of Tennessee. Fourth round, Tonka Hemingway, the South Carolina D-tackle. Sixth round, J.J. Pigus, the Ole Miss D-tackle. Sixth round again, Tommy Merlot, the quarterback out of Montana State, who's going to convert into a wide receiver. Looking at a little bit of Edelman action, we will see. Sixth round again, Cam Miller, the North Dakota State quarterback. Seventh round, finally, the Cody Lindbergh pick, the linebacker out of Minnesota. All across the board here, this is a really fun draft. And you should never say this when you look at history, but the Raiders did really well in this draft, in my opinion. When you look back at past drafts, you're like, oh, picked by the Raiders, not going to make it. Jeanty, Besh, Porter, I love Charles Grant are all awesome picks in my eyes. I even like the JJ pick, the D-tackle in the sixth round. I think they got a ton of value here and a lot of impact players in year one. What did you think, Metro, for our man Pete Carroll taking his first draft as a Las Vegas Raider?
Yeah, just a broad overview of this draft. I thought it was a really productive draft where you get your superstar running back, you get another receiver, you find a hopeful answer at corner, you pick up some future offensive linemen in Grant and Rogers, you get some high upside guys like Tonka and Dante. Even in the round 6, J.J. Pigus was somebody who a lot of us thought was going to go a little bit higher. And then you get some little fun picks in the back of the draft with Tommy Mellett and Cam Miller. Like, nobody saw those guys getting picked, but those were kind of fun. So as a big overview of the draft, I really like what they did. It wasn't like the greatest draft, and I think that there was things they could have done differently, but I thought they handled themselves quite nicely. I think there was just a draft where you get a lot of talent and you just don't overthink things. So do you want to go at this pick by pick and just briefly cover each one?
Yeah, Genty, this is your identity on the team. They are going to give this guy 500 carries. Chip Kelly's the O-coordinator. He came from Ohio State. Ran Judkins and Henderson not into the ground, but as much as he possibly and humanly could. Look no further here with Genty. What do you have to say about Mr. Ashton Genty that the people don't already know?
Yeah, his play style is one of a kind. He's just a beast. Contact balance for days. Good athlete. He is shifty as hell. Not the biggest guy. He's not a pocket move a pocket mover. He's not somebody that's going to move the sticks on 4th and 1 too often, but he's just super shifty. Just everything you really need him to do. I don't know what you're going to get from him as a receiver, but I think there is at least something there where I think he can be a good enough receiving back, but that's not really what you're going to use him as. He's going to be your first and second down runner. You bring in Raheem Mostert, who might be a bit more of your receiving back, but man, Genty is just, 2,750 all-purpose yards. That's
goodness,
like unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And, people will say that Boise State didn't play nobody. It's not really true. When they ran up against good competition, it didn't really matter. Genty was dominating, whether it was bad competition, whether it was Oregon, which was at one point the number one team in the country. Like, Genty just straight up dominated everybody. So, to me, I really like the pick. And I get it. He's a running back. Positional value people care about. I personally do not care. Genty will be a Pro Bowl, all-pro level running back, at least we think, for the foreseeable future. And if you get that at pick 6, I have no issue with it.
Heck yeah. Second round, we got Jack Bech, the TCU wide receiver. Separates, not at a high level, but gets just open enough. And then any ball thrown his way, he comes down with contested catches. And I don't mean like jump balls necessarily, but like anything where it's in traffic or you can't really see it. He's coming out with the ball 99% of the time. Senior Bowl MVP, that's where he really impressed these scouts out here and made himself a second-round pick. But because before he was probably like 4th because he was known, but not Jack freaking Bech. So good for him. I think the value is really good. I think you know what you're going to get out of him. Is he going to be a number 1 wide receiver? Not in my eyes, but I think he'll be a really good wide receiver, too, in the league. What do you think about Jack Bech?
Yeah, I like the value as well. I was a little worried about him being a late 1st, early 2nd round pick, but when you start talking about late 2nd, early 3rd, I felt more comfortable with him there. He's a unique prospect because he can play on the slot, but he also can play on the outside. I personally kind of like him a bit more in the slot as somebody who can just get open, find space, sit in there, make nice contested catches like you mentioned. He's just one of those guys. He's Cooper Kupp-like. Maybe not the greatest athlete in the world. Doesn't have any elite traits to him, but he just finds ways to get open. He's super reliable. And if he can create a nice connection with Geno Smith, he's going to easily be one of his favorite targets. He's going to be probably utilized very similar to a JSN, although maybe a little bit less athletic. So I like his fit here. He's also not going to be asked to be the wide receiver 1. Good value. Overall, really like the pick for Jack Bech.
Darian Porter here, the cornerback, goes in the 3rd round from Iowa State. Darian is an athletic freak. He's 6'3", he's 195. He ran a 4.3 at the combine. That's not a stopwatch, it's not a clock time. That is a laser time. This dude was flying. He's lengthy. He could play really well on the outside. I think the upside you get in Darian Porter makes him a no-brainer 3rd round pick, and I love the value you got here in the 3rd as well. Can he be the CB1 one day? That would make this an outstanding pick. What do you think about Mr. Darian Porter, Metro?
Yeah, he is a weird prospect.
He is.
Because when you think of a 3rd round cornerback taken in the NFL draft, you're expecting a guy who's getting a lot of playing time at the college level, but he really was not getting a lot of playing time till this last year. But in this last year, he made kind of the most of it. He definitely played his way into the NFL. A freak athlete, like you mentioned. He's well-sized, 6'2", 195 pounds. I think instantly he's a contributor on special teams, but I think long-term, hopefully, he can be one of your answers at corner. It's funny, he's an older prospect because he's been in college since 2019, but he's a little bit inexperienced in a sense, which is just something you don't hear of from a guy who's played since 2019. So, yeah, it's going to take time for him to develop, and I definitely think he has all the tools necessary, size, length, speed-wise. It's just got to give him more time. And then they also had 2 third-round picks after that, back-to-back with Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant. Those are developmental guards and tackles. A lot of development needs to happen there. Rogers will probably move inside to play guard, where he played in 2024. Grant will probably stick at tackle. Both those guys need development. Maybe they could be long-term starters. We'll have to wait and see. Do you have any thoughts on either one of those guys, or that's your thoughts
I think
too?
the upside on Grant is really good. Like you said, really feel good about Caleb Rogers as a guard, just not the tackle upside because you need to be a freak athlete to do that in the NFL. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and then in round 4, they took Thornton and Hemingway. Admittedly speaking, I'm not the highest on either of these guys. Thornton is a bit more of just a super explosive athlete that can stretch the field vertically, but really lacks nuance in his route tree. Whereas Tonka, freak athlete, but I just don't know what he's quite elite at quite yet. Like, he can move very nicely, but he's 6'3", 284. I don't think he'll ever be a good run stuffer, so you're hoping that he can be a good enough pass rusher. There's some nuance to his game that I see. I think there's some potential there. It's just right now he's kind of a tweener, and I think you want to have a bit more of an identity, which I don't know if he quite has yet. Any thoughts on those guys, or is that?
Yeah, for Thornton, I think his role is going to be, hey, you're running 100 go routes a game, and it's going to be stretching the field like you said. Jack Besh, really good player, doesn't have the burners. That's okay. We'll get guys who can. That's what we do in the 4th round here with Thornton.
Yeah, and then round 6, Tommy Mellett, like you mentioned, was quarterbacks, transition to receiver.
This is a cool pick.
This is Julian Edelman 2.0. He's hoping.
Obviously. Get the red gloves on.
Yeah, Cam Miller went to North Dakota State. Funnily, this was the guy that Tom Brady was rooting for. So if there's somebody that I'm going to trust with that, I'll trust, of course, Mr. Tom, the GOAT. Before that, though, I skipped him. J.J. Pegues, just a interesting prospect, high upside guy. I actually like the value here. 6'2", 2.5, 309. Really explosive off the ball. Or let me rephrase that. He's quick off the ball, but not necessarily the greatest athlete, so he's not incredibly explosive. But he does have a nice first step. He has good hands, good feet. I think there's a limited upside with this guy, but I easily think he could be a rotational guy at some point. And then Cody Lindenberg in round 7, probably more of a special teams guy.
Yes,
so
sir.
In general, I really like this draft class. I think, like you mentioned, impactful guys. My question to you is, how many of these guys in 2025 will be starters by end of season?
Jack Besh, Ashton Genty. I think that's it, honestly, and that's okay. That doesn't mean it's a bad draft whatsoever.
Yeah,
because you have to be realistic in this stuff. A lot of these guys don't hit. I know those 2 will start the rest. Honestly, I don't want them starting until they get a really good handle on things.
Yep, my thought, I kind of agree with you. I also think that Genty and Besh will, of course, probably start day 1. I wouldn't be surprised if one of Grant or Rogers gets significant playing time this year, just likely because of maybe an injury or just performance-based. And I'll also say this, the secondary for Las Vegas, which we'll talk about here in a minute, is weak and not good. So if there's a guy here that I'm willing to kind of take a bet on, it might be Darian Porter. I would not be surprised one bit if week 12 comes and Darian Porter's put into the starting lineup. I also wouldn't be surprised if Dante Thornton gets like actual legit playing time, because he just is he's a mover. That dude can run days. And you want to talk about a Marquez Valdez-Scantling-like guy? That's kind of what Dante Thornton could kind of be like. So, also,
but at 6'5".
But at 6'5". Also, let's be honest, Tommy Mellett's definitely seeing the field.
Oh, Tommy's going to be an All-Pro by year 2.
There's no shot this guy doesn't make the field. Like, he's going to make the team, and, man, he's going to be out there in preseason, and he's just going to cook. When these quarterbacks turn into these slot receivers, they just know how to read it. They know where to stop. They know if he just has hands, if he's a good mover, bro, he is Julian Edelman 2.0.
The fact that this is Tom Brady's team and they took Tommy.
Exactly.
Like, we're to convert him. Dude, he's already in my dynasty taxi squad. Like, say no more, Tom. I know what you're doing here. Get the pan out and cook, buddy. I know what you're doing.
Tom is absolutely cooking here. Somebody got to reel him in because he is out of control with this one.
You ready to go on to their offensive lineup as well as their defense and review that?
Yes. Do you want to list off their projected starters?
Let's do it. For the ESPN depth chart report, I have for the Raiders on the offense, Geno Smith at quarterback. At running back, I hope Ashton Genty. Wide receiver, we have Jacoby Myers. Wide receiver, Trey Tucker. Wide receiver, Jack Besh. Tight end, Brock Bowers. He's okay. Left tackle, we have Colton Miller. Left guard, Jordan Meredith. Center, Jackson Powers Johnson from a couple of years ago in the first round. And then right guard, Dylan Param. And then right tackle, DJ Glaze. Across the board, Metro, what are you feeling is the, I think I know your answer here. What's the strength of this offense, and what is the piece we need to see come into development in this year?
Their strength is going to be within their superstars, Colton Miller, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and Geno Smith. Those guys, they have to kind of run their offense through. Like, Genty's going to get a ton of carries. Bowers is going to get a ton of work. Geno's going to be asked to do a lot of things. In terms of a weakness for this roster, I'm not the highest on Myers as a wide receiver 1, but if you tell me as a high-end number 2 option, and if you could just find that, I don't know, I don't want to say like A.J. Brown because like those are super hard to find, but if you can find one of those dudes, that would be nice. I also think DJ Glaze, a lot of criticism this offseason. I feel okay with him starting, but I ideally would like to find long-term answers at right tackle, maybe even a guard. We'll see if Grant or Rodgers can become that. I'll throw the question back at you. What would you say is their weakest spot?
I think their weakest spot is they, like you said, you have 3 names you feel awesome about, and then the rest is like a couple of good and a couple of we need to really work on this. So,
yeah,
Ashton Genty, he's going to be the whole offense. If Ashton Genty is ever hurt, this offense is going back to the form of last year. And that sounds like a hard pill to swallow, but when your offense is 25th overall, okay, yes, quarterback improved. That is a huge factor we have to account for, but I'm just going to be realistic. I think Jack Besh is really good. I don't think he moves the needle crazily. And, Genty goes down. This is not an explosive offense. That's just what it comes to. It's too thin. It doesn't have enough depth and enough options.
Yeah, if Genty goes down, their backup's Raheem Mostert, who's now in his 30s. Sincere McCormick's also there. So those guys can get the job done, but they're not Genty, right? They're not going to consistently get 4.5 yards a carry. Like, that's what Genty will get. Those guys, probably less than 4 yards a carry like you were last year. And there's just not enough receivers who are dominant and consistently getting open that if a Genty were to miss time, Geno could carry this team. Right. Geno was able to, in some ways, carry that Seahawks team because there was a JSN, there was a DK Metcalf, and there was options in the running back room. So even when Kenneth Walker missed time or, JSN or DK missed time, there was other options. There isn't really that with this team yet because there's not a second option to Genty. There's not a second option to Jacoby. You have Michael Mayer, but he hasn't really been all that.
Bowers can ball.
Well, exactly. Bowers will ball, but it's like, what else do you have outside of that?
Boom.
Right? I mean, Jacoby's a good player. I don't want to undermine Jacoby by any means. It's just that, look, Jacoby is not – he's not CD. He's not AJ. Yeah. He's not – I mean, they're hard to find. And Jacoby is a very good second receiver. It's just that if you can find that second guy, it'd be nice. So I do worry about if one major injury – not major – one injury in general to a Bowers, to a Genty, or, of course, to Geno, that would suck. But if any of those guys get injured or misses a week or two, could see this offense really struggling without that piece. But at the bare minimum, I do think they took a step forward from last year. It's not like this was going to be a 1-year retool/rebuild. This was going to take a few years. And bare minimum, you have a significant upgrade at quarterback, significant upgrade at running back, nice wide receiver 3 in Jack Besh. Brock Bowers continues to develop and get even better. Offensive line now has some young depth to it. So everything got better. It's just that I don't know if it's quite taken that full step quite yet. But if they are fully healthy, major if, I think this could be a top – you think top 15 offense if healthy?
Easily, dude. I mean, Gentsy's going to lead that alone. So they will be explosive next year when this team is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's just one little injury to Gency or Bowers, and I'm a little bit concerned about this team. But man, you want to talk about superstar talent? Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the NFL, and I think Gency has a chance to be the best running back in the NFL. Pair that up with some nice young receivers like Tucker, Besh. Of course, you brought in Dante Thornton, and then you're hoping Jacoby can continue to his rise. So
Tommy,
I mean,
obviously
Tommy Mellett. My bad. I can't believe I missed him.
How dare you?
And you know what's funny? Like, Jack Besh will play in the slot. Dude, Tommy Mellett's probably going to outplay him. Like, it's probably going to happen, dude.
That would be the craziest thing to happen this year.
It's going to be week 10. Jack Besh is going to, go down. Oh, we're not hoping.
No,
on this,
never. Yeah.
But Jack Besh is going to go down. Tommy Mellett's going to step in there and just completely outperform him. And we're going to be sitting here like, fuck, Brady did it again. Gino has fucking Julian Edelman on his team.
If Tommy pans, guys, that's what we're trying to say. This team will be good until week 9 when someone gets an ankle injury. It's just what happens. It's football, man. But when Tommy steps in and becomes a top 10 wide receiver, then you become a top 10 offense. So that's your answer. Let's see if it actually happens. We're putting a lot of pressure on a 6th round pick, but you got this, Tommy. We believe in you.
Look, they drafted him for a reason.
That's right.
This dude would have been an undrafted free agent. Like, I don't think any team was actually going to take him. But they took him in the 6th round. They took him over some pretty, I don't say talented players, but some good pieces on the board still.
Guys. Yeah.
And they took their guy. They clearly have a plan for him. Of course, we're kidding. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know if we're kidding.
Hell no,
I'm not really kidding. Yeah, never mind. We're not kidding at all. This guy's going to be a superstar.
I'm dead serious. You want to go to the defense?
Yeah, my last little point here. This offensive line still needs some work. There's some good pieces, though. So it feels like Raiders fans are a little lower on their offensive line than I guess the outside thought is of their defense. But I don't know. I'm more inclined to trust Raiders fans than outsiders.
Fair.
So if they say their offensive line needs work, then I will agree with you. I just think, just from my perspective, I see some good pieces there. And again, you can't completely rely on PFF. So sometimes PFF is not, the greatest indicator of performance. But Jordan Meredith was, PFF wise, pretty darn good last year. So, yeah, I feel good about it. But let's move on to the defense.
Let's head to the defense and let's go through this roster. So at end, we have Max Crosby. Probably heard of him. He's pretty damn good. At D tackle, we have Christian Wilkins, who we're looking to take a step up this year after coming from Miami on a big contract. Next, we have Adam Butler, D tackle. DN, we have Malcolm Kuntz. And then, of course, I must mention him behind, we have Tyree Wilson, the 1st round pick. Does he take a step up again like he did in 2024? If he does, we're cooking with gas. At linebacker, we have Devin White, the old 1st round pick, coming in from another team. Middle linebacker, Eldon Roberts. Linebacker, Tommy Etchberg. Cornerback, Jacorian Bennett. Strong safety, Jeremy Chin on that deal, 2 years. And then free safety, Isaiah Pula-Moao. And then cornerback, Eric Stokes. And nickelback, Darnay Holmes. Overall, Metro, I'm seeing a D-line that can do a hell of a lot of damage. And some good pieces around there, but not a complete defense. That's just what I make of it. You have Tyree Wilson step up. This team gets a whole lot better. You have Christian Wilkins be what he was a couple years ago. Now we're really cooking with gas. And if all 3 of those guys, including Max Crosby, of course, are firing on all cylinders, if you have a good D-line, the rest can figure itself out, kind of like a good O-line. That's kind of the path for this team on defense in my eyes.
Yeah, and you're also hoping that Malcolm Kuntz, who missed all of 2024, returns to form because he had, I think, 8 sacks the year prior.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, here's the thing. This defensive line is pretty gnarly. I do think maybe depth is a little questionable, but you did take Tonka, you did take JJ, so feel good about that. You also lost a lot of pieces in the offseason defensively, some pass rushers, some secondary members. I'll be honest with you, though, outside of the defensive line, I'm a little bit worried about this team.
Yeah.
Or defensively, at least. Jeremy Chin was a nice pickup, and I guess I'll start with the secondary before I talk about the linebackers, but I don't know what this secondary is going to look like. It's Jacorian Bennett, Dekamarian Richardson, Eric Stokes, Darnay Holmes. Those are your corners. Of course, Darren Porter's also there. And then your safeties, Chin and Isaiah Polomel. Jeremy Chin was a good pickup. I really like that one. I mean, he had a great year for Washington. He's been fairly reliable wherever he's gone, and last year had a bit of a breakout year. So if they use him similar to that, I think he'll be a nice addition to this team. But these corners kind of suck.
Yeah, well said. Chin can't do it by himself, right? The secondary needs people to step up, and this is it. This is the team. It's like similar to, I'm not going to say similar to the Browns, but this is a team. If they run the football and stay ahead with Ash and Genty, let that D-line feast, and let the secondary kind of figure it out with really good pressure, now we can win some games. If you get behind the 8 ball and you have to pass, and the defense has to keep guessing on what the offense is going to do next, now we're in a really bad situation. So stay ahead is the name of the game, in my opinion, for the Raiders when looking at their full roster.
Yeah, there's some younger pieces to this secondary, like Ja'Cory Bennett was drafted in 2023. DeCamarion Richardson was drafted in he was drafted last year. So like there's younger options here, but there's just a lot of changes that need to happen with this room. It is far from being a complete unit right now. It's missing, in my opinion, like 2 to 3 genuine starters in the cornerback room. Eric Stokes is a veteran, but he has never been consistent. He's never been great. Darnay Holmes, I guess he's okay against the run. I worry about him in coverage at times. Isaiah Polamau, like kind of similar in coverage. He's not the greatest, but as like a run supporter, he's solid, but he's going to probably play free safety, which means you got to do more coverage than you got to do downhill thumping. So we'll see how that kind of works out. It's kind of why when I talked about Darren Porter, I really think Darren Porter is going to get some playing time because he is very talented. He was drafted in the 3rd round for a reason. He's one of the best athletes of this year's draft class. Very raw, but you get a good secondary coach. I think Porter, man, it's just tough. It's not a very talented unit. I thought that maybe they should have took a Will Johnson in round 2. But, of course, I don't think they had an early enough pick for that. It's just unfortunate. This is a unit that needs a lot of help, and I think it's probably going to be the unit that holds this team back. It's not, let me be honest with you, it's not, like, atrocious beyond belief, but it's definitely a bottom unit in terms of secondaries. And then in terms of linebackers, you have some stopgap guys like Devin White and Elandon Roberts. Devin White, it's funny how the career of Devin White has gone because, man, he was talented out of college. And with Tampa Bay, it was like, oh, this dude's a superstar. And then you actually, like, watch the film. He's like, oh, no, this guy's, he ain't it. And it's been proven now because he went to the Eagles. Everyone thought it was the biggest steal of the offseason. He did not play much. He got benched for Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean. And now he's with the Raiders. And I don't expect it to get much better. Elandon Roberts, he's good against the run. He's okay in coverage, not really a strong suit, but he's good enough. He'll definitely be your best linebacker week 1, but he's 30, so he's not like your long-term answer. So I don't know. Like, the defensive line is nice. Jeremy Chin is a good player. Elandon Roberts is good enough. I think they have at least some younger options in the cornerback room, but I'm not really digging what I'm seeing in this outside of your defensive line right now.
It's a year out, and that's okay.
Yes.
Because coach just rolled up. So that's the answer overall for the defense.
Yes.
Offense got to dress pretty well. They just use picks, and they use capital this year in the offense, and it shows. And when you do that for the offense, someone has to suffer, a.k.a. the defense. So good review here on the roster. Do you want to go into our season predictions? We have the full schedule as of today. And, guys, how this is going to work is I'm going to ask Metro week to week and have him choose. I'll count the wins and the losses, and we'll count them up. We'll go from there.
Yes. Real quick, do you want to shamelessly plug our channels in?
Yeah, guys. So we love making content for you on this channel every single Monday and Thursday. But besides that, we have our own channels as well. Metro Sports, down in the description, who's talking to you right now, makes all NFL analysis content. Go check it out and subscribe down below. And if you want a different speed, like the NFL draft, that's where you'll find my channel, Cade Rathbone, at Cade Rathbone, in the description down below. Go subscribe. Thank you guys very much. Let's go to the NFL season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you ready to go, Metro? I'm going to go through this full season, one by one, road, home, back and forth. You ready to go?
Yes, I am ready for this. I was
Let's
born
do
for
this.
this, actually. I was born for this. This
That's
is
the
my
attitude.
this is where I live. By the way, this is some of these are probably going to get like not clipped, but like a year from now they're going to be like, "Hey, you thought the Raiders were going to win 3 games. They won 4." Oh, my bad. I didn't know.
You clown. Cancel it.
Like, look, we'll record this May 18th. We got 3 more months of this. Give me a break, guys. I'm doing my best.
We're trying our best.
And also, if I don't have an answer, I'll let Cade pick for me.
Oh, I love it. This sounds great.
No
Let's start in week 1, September 7th. We're on the road. We're going to the Patriots' house with Drake May. Who pulls this game out, Metro?
We're going to New England. Mm-hmm. New England got a lot better this offseason. I think it might take a week or two to get comfortable, to have some continuity, to build trust within your new receivers, within your new teammates. Las Vegas kind of has a similar situation, but their new teammates, a lot of them are veterans, especially now that Pete Carroll's there. I'm going to lean, I think I'll go Raiders on this one. I think Raiders pull, not necessarily an upset, but I think the Raiders win.
That's an upset. Big win right there for the Raiders on the road to start the year out. We're going back home. The Chargers are coming down for Monday Night Football. Ooh. Jim Harbaugh, who's winning this one, Metro?
The lights are bright. It's going to be a fun game here. This is going to be a close one. 2 teams that have new running backs. We'll see if Hampton's the starter or if it's Najee. Probably will be Najee, but do I trust Monday Night Herbert more than I trust Monday Night Geno? I'm tempted to go with the Raiders here. I don't know why. I'm really tempted to go Raiders here.
What is it about? I could be totally wrong about this. Something about Monday Night Football in Allegiant Stadium just feels right.
It does. It'll be their first game of the stadium, or first game of the year in that stadium. Crowd should be buzzing. There's some new energy there. Fuck it. Give me the Raiders. Raiders win Monday Night Football.
Give me the Raiders, baby. I love it, man. Paper says Chargers, but vibes 1,000% says the Raiders. Let's go with the Raiders right here. That's 2-0 on the season. Heading into week 3, back on the road. We're going against the Washington Commanders, the Commies. How's it going to shake out, Metro?
Give me Washington. I think Raiders are a talented team. I think Washington's more talented. They have in my opinion, the better quarterback, better team in general. So give me Washington on that one.
Wouldn't argue. Let's go back home, week 4, September 28th. The Chicago Bears come to town. It's a 3:25 game. How's it going to shake out? Who's pulling this game out?
I'm going to go with Chicago here. I think that this is the game. I think early on, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of have some struggles early as they try to, work with Ben. They have this new offensive line, a lot of new pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if at this point they're like 1-2 or 0-3, and they need to start putting it together. And I think that this is probably where Chicago starts to start clicking and things start going their way. So I'm going to give this one to Chicago. I think they're just a really complete roster with a lot of things going their way.
Couldn't have said it better. Let's go to week 5 on the road. Indianapolis Colts in that dome. Who's pulling this one out, Metro?
I will go. Ooh, man,
it's hard.
The Colts are a lot more talented, at least on paper, but I don't trust their coaching as much as I do trust Pete Carroll, and I also definitely trust Geno more than I trust Anthony. This is one of those games where it feels a bit like a trap game where you think the Raiders should win, but if Anthony's having a good game, they could find a way to win this one. By the way, this is of the season. This is the lowest ticket prices at $49. So if you want to go to this one, if you want to go to Indianapolis, it's only $49 for probably nosebleeds. Give me 12 o'clock game. Give me Las Vegas. Give me Las Vegas on this one. But I think it's a toss-up. I could see Indianapolis winning this one too.
Absolute trap game. 3-2 on the season. Right around the corner, we're going back home. Home away. Very consistent right here. Let's go. Let's have the Tennessee Titans roll into town on the 12th. It's going to be about a 3 p.m. game on Sunday. Who wins this one? Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans or Geno Smith and the Raiders at home?
This is going to be a great game for both rookies to prove their case for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Because I think it will be a 2-man race. This is my prediction. I think it'll be Cam Ward and Genty 1 and 2. I think Genty will probably win it. So I'm going to lean towards the Raiders. Tennessee still is a few years away from being any sort of really big-time competitor. Right now, I do lean towards Las Vegas being the more talented team.
4-2 Raiders. Holy hell. Here we go. Here we go, Jim. Fire me up. We're going back on the road, and we're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. These guys are pretty ass. What do you think happens here, Metro?
Funnily enough, the Raiders always feel like they are contending with Kansas City, but Kansas City always finds a way to kind of pull it out at the end. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the continuing here. Kansas City will go down 14-0 at the end of the first. Gentry's going to be balling, and then the ref will trip Geno Smith, and he'll be out for the rest of the game. And Kansas City will pull out the win in the fourth quarter.
Well said, brother. We're at 4-3 in the season. Now we go into our bye week. We're coming back out, and it's going to be November 2nd. It's now chilly out. We're at home, though, so we're in a dome. The Jaguars are coming to town. Who wins this one? Travis Hunter. This is the Heisman battle, man. Travis Hunter, Nash, and Genty. This one to be sweet, man. Who wins this one, Metro?
Well, I personally think Travis will play more corner than receiver, but
Okay.
I think he'll play both ways. Man, talk about two teams that have wildly improved. Give me Las Vegas. I think Jacksonville is still one more year away from being any sort of serious threat to a lot of teams.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go 4 days later. Quick turnaround. Thursday Night Football. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. November 6th, Week 10. I think that was the wrong jingle, but that's okay.
That's ESPN, I think.
Yeah, my bad. That's Monday Night Football. It's okay. Week 10, November 6th, we have a Thursday night game. The Broncos, we're going away to Mile High Stadium. Who's pulling this one out against Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and against our Raiders?
I got Denver winning this one. I got Denver. Denver's defense is going to make it very difficult for Genty if they can't get the run game going. I think Geno's going to struggle a little bit in this one. And offensively speaking, the Broncos are probably going to be significantly better than the Raiders. It'll be a close game, but I think Denver will pull this one out.
Well said. 11 days later, this is kind of a bye week, but this time it's actually real. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. November 17th, we have Monday Night Football. It's the Cowboys, and it's going to be a fun one. They are at home in – what's up with Monday Night Football in Allegiant Stadium? It just feels right. They just keep running it back. Cowboys, Raiders. Who wins this one, Metro? And you have to answer it because you are a Cowboys fan.
This is, by the way, the most expensive ticket prices of the season at $418.
Oh, my goodness.
It checks out. The place is going to be buzzing. It's going to be a lot of boos towards Cowboys fans because everyone loves to boo them. Look, if Dallas is healthy at this stage, they're just a better team. They already have the star power. I feel like, had a nice offseason. And I think, in general, Dallas typically performs well on Monday Night Football from what I've noticed. So I'm going to lean Dallas on this one. Though I will say I think Las Vegas will definitely push Dallas to a close matchup.
We're even 5-5. Instead of going back and forth from away to home, we're going back-to-back home games. The Cleveland Browns come to town. This will be a very interesting game. This will shake out the draft rankings for sure. November 23rd, who wins this game, Metro? Cleveland Browns, Raiders.
Man, I'm not the highest on the Browns. I think there's some Browns fans who are a lot higher than us.
We've done a video in the corner.
In the corner. Give me Raiders.
Give me the Raiders. That's going to be 6-5 on the season. Now we're going back. Chargers on the road. Who's pulling this one out?
I had the Raiders win the first one, so I think it's right that I have them split. I'm going to have the Chargers getting their revenge. This time on a Sunday, so Herbert doesn't have to worry about the bright lights. He'll be chilling. It'll be in a nice, cozy. Actually, does California get cold in November? Not really.
Never.
It'll be nice weather. Palm trees will still be busting. So, go ahead and give me the Chargers to win that one.
Very nice. Good Herbert analysis as well. December 7th, we have the Broncos. This one's at home, though. Who pulls us out? We're 6-6 in the season. In the race, in the hunt.
I think Denver is a really talented team. I do think Las Vegas can compete with them. I think Las Vegas makes some adjustments and they pull this one out. It'll be I'm gonna say this could be a surprisingly high scoring game with that one.
I love it. Absolutely love it. We're 7-6 in the playoff hunt. We need to win at least we need to win 3 of these last 4 games. Here we go. Next we have week 15. We're going on the road and we're playing the Eagles. Pain. Metro, who wins this game?
Philly probably smokes them. Philly's one of the best teams in the NFL. Give me Philadelphia.
Give me the Raiders.
30. Yeah, right. you know that clip of Pat McAfee
It's
riling
so
up
good. Yes.
I think it's the Georgia crowd.
Yes.
Give me Alabama.
Give me Alabama. Oh, fires me up.
Not happening today. I will pull that one out though next couple videos when we do this. I'm gonna get the other team all excited just to pull the rug on them. Give me Philadelphia though.
It's the best way to do it. Philly defeats them in their own house. We're on the road again. You have back-to-back home games. You got to have back-to-back away games. We're on the road going to Houston. The Houston Texans play us on December 21st, a week later. Who wins this game?
If Wilkins and Wilson are playing good, they can put a lot of havoc on CJ.
This is true.
But that Texans defense is going to cause some problems for Genty, cause some problems for Bowers. They have some guys that match up nicely there. I trust Houston later in the season more so than I do right now with Las Vegas, so I will go with Houston and a victory here.
Well said. Next, we have a home game. The Giants are coming to town. You talk about schedules. Metro sent me their schedule the other day. The Giants have a brutal. This is like, I don't want to be mean Raiders fans. The Raiders game is like one of the only breaths of air in this diabolical schedule. So with that being said, Giants come to your house. Raiders, Giants, who wins this one, Metro? We are 7-8 on the year.
If Brian Dable is still employed at this time, his job might be on the line versus the Raiders.
Well said. There's a lot of money on this game.
I don't know if Dart's in this one or not in this one. Oh, it's tough because I think New York is a better roster than Las Vegas. It's just that I don't know what their quarterback situation looks like. And I also don't know if Brian Dable will be employed at that point either. So
this is true.
I'm going to go Las Vegas. I don't know. Something about it just tells me that New York needs a win. They'll probably lose.
Like poetry, man. History repeats itself. We're 8-8, heading into our final week, and we have the KC Chiefs at home. And I assume the KC Chiefs will not only be playing backups as they usually do, but still, Metro, how do you forget that? How do we want to grade this game? Who wins?
I think Mahomes plays the first half and leaves in the second half.
Yes.
Because they'll probably have a locked up seed in the playoffs. So I'm going to get the Raiders a win here. I think the Raiders will beat up on their backups in the second half. To pull a 9-8, probably not making the playoffs, but we have seen teams in the past who will go 9-8 who end up making the playoffs. So in general, not the hardest schedule. If they can upset a team like Denver or Philadelphia, Chicago early in the year, Washington, they'll be in the playoffs. So I maybe took a bit of a pessimistic route, but if you're optimistic, you can definitely see a path to 10, 11 wins.
That'd be fun, man. It's good to go through these schedules because, especially with the games now and the dates and like the half bye weeks, it really paints the whole picture. Like you said, we have some go back to highlights real quick. You have the Cam Ward versus Ashton Genty. You have the Heisman battle between Jacksonville and the Raiders. And then, of course, you have probably Dable's job on the line. New York Giants Week 17, even making that spicy. It's going to be a fun season for the Raiders, and I'm looking forward to all the Monday Night Football games they have against the Chargers and the Cowboys. Anything else you want to say on the Raiders, Mr. Metro?
Yeah, last thing, schedule-wise, they have a great bye week.
They
Week
do.
8 is like the perfect bye week because you're about halfway through the season. If you need to make some adjustments, you can make them there. Because there are some teams that get screwed over big time with like a Week 14 bye week, which by that point your team is just broken down, or like a Week 4 or Week 5 bye week, which is probably the worst thing the NFL can do. Me personally, I think that the NFL should divide the teams up between Weeks 7 through 10, and every single team at one point has a bye week between 7 and 10. Because I think when you get these teams a bye week in Week 13, it's just brutal. Like 12 straight games with no bye. And some of these games, you're playing a Thursday game, you're playing a Monday Night Football game, and these quick turnarounds. So all things considered, Las Vegas has a chance here to put it together nicely down the backstretch of the season. If a couple of these wins or some of these losses that I talked about go the Raiders' way, I think the Raiders could find themselves in a playoff spot.
It's health, man. How hard are these trainers working? How healthy can Ashton Genty stay? That will determine the pivot and the course of the Raiders season. Guys, Metro, got anything else?
Nope, that's it. Las Vegas fans, hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. If you enjoyed the video, Raiders fans, please drop a like. It helps out a bunch and the algorithm. Thank you very much. And guys, what did you agree with and disagree with? What games, grades, when we reviewed the offseason, what did you think was correct or incorrect? Drop it down below. What's your prediction for the season? Are they going to be 12-5? Are they going to be somewhere in the middle? Maybe like 2-15 if you're pessimistic. Let us know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Go subscribe as well. See y'all later. Metro, get us out of here.
Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.